I have to play some audio from yesterday. This is Sheriff Grady Judd. He is the sheriff of Polk County, Florida. I want you to listen to what he said in a press conference.
We have received information in social media that some of the criminals were going to take their criminal conduct into the neighborhoods. I would tell them, if you value your life, you probably shouldn't do that in Polk County, because the people of Polk County like guns. They have guns. I encourage them to own guns, and they're going to be in their homes tonight with their guns loaded. And if you try to break into their homes to steal, to set fires, I'm highly recommending they blow you back out of the house with their guns. So leave the community alone.
I lived in Polk County, I think. I lived in Polk County, Florida, and I did not get a chance to vote for him, but I think I would have. He was overwhelmingly elected sheriff in 2004, reelected in 8, 12, 16, and I'm guessing he's going to do well the next time should he decide to run. Welcome to the program, Grady Judd.
Thank you very much, and certainly I want to continue serving the people of Polk County and keeping them safe and supporting them while they do the right thing.
So, Grady, did you see something in your county that disturbed you, or is this just what's happening all around the country? And they've been saying they're coming to the suburbs. So you were just making sure everybody understood.
The county's about 690,000 people, and as you can imagine, we have a large sheriff's office here. And our intelligence group picked this chatter up off of the different Facebook or social media posts. I don't think it was on Facebook. It was another social media. We weren't able to verify it at the time of the press conference, but we take all of those threats serious until we can discount them. And we weren't able to discount it because we saw it from more than one source. So I was responding to a reporter's question, but at the end of the day, that's, to me, common sense. I mean, it's gone viral. I looked last night, and there was 2.5 million views. But think about this, Glenn. All we said was what every citizen in the United States has a right to do. Your home, in your house, and looters take to the neighborhoods, and they're going to break into your home to rob, to steal, to set your house on fire, why wouldn't you blow them out of your house with your firearm? You've got the right to protect yourself, your family, and your home. So to me, it was just common sense.
I find it interesting, Grady, that there has been such a movement to get guns out of the hands of average citizens, and the same people who have been trying to do that are now in the streets causing all of this ruckus and saying, we're coming to your house. Do you think it's a coincidence, or are these things coordinated, do you think?
I think it's absolutely coordinated. You know, it's pretty basic, but you know the old saying, when you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have guns. The reality is, I've been in law enforcement my entire adult life. Outlaws, criminals, thugs, they don't pay any attention to rules. If they did, we wouldn't have criminal conduct. And the criminals always have guns. So that's what shocks me about this. The criminals always have guns. So if the criminals have guns, why in God's green earth wouldn't we want law-abiding citizens to at least be able to arm themselves to protect themselves and their family? And there are areas in this country, if people didn't have guns in their homes, they wouldn't be safe. So what we're saying is, look, when the criminals start obeying the law, when the criminals start doing what's right, then come back to us and talk about gun control. I don't think we'll ever have that conversation.
I don't think so either. I still wouldn't give up my gun. I mean, I have a right to protect myself, and I think we're seeing now why there needs to be magazines that hold more than 7 bullets. I mean, look at some of these beatdowns that are happening in the cities. There are, 10, 12, 15, 20 people that are after one person and just beating them. I mean, I have a right to live, and I have a right to my own opinion, and I have a right to say it. You have a right to protest, but not to beat me to death. At least give me a shot of saving my own life.
And that's absolutely correct. But I can assure you of one thing, that second, third, fourth, fifth person, when you modify that first person's behavior with a gun, the others decide to go the other way. And when you can't be safe in your home, you can't be safe any place at all. But you have the right, especially in the state of Florida. We have beautiful laws, not only castle doctrine laws, but we also have a stand your ground law. And it's really been taken out of context. Our stand your ground law doesn't mean that you can enter into a conflict and stand your ground. The intent and the pure purpose of that law is you're a law-abiding citizen, behaving, walking down the street, minding your own business, and someone comes up to attack you, to beat you down with a stick, a baseball bat, they have a knife, they have a gun, certainly you have the right to protect yourself. You don't have to run from somebody that may be faster and certainly wants to assault you. And to me, it's common sense. And when you look where the problems are occurring, traditionally it's in the communities that have stopped the good people from doing what's right, possessing their firearms, having easy-to-access concealed weapons permits, and obviously then the criminals take over.
So where do we go from here, Sheriff? What should the sheriffs and the police forces around the country be doing right now to make sure they stay on the right side and their cities and their counties are protected?
Glenn, I'm glad you asked that. The police are nothing but a microcosm or a reflection of the community. When you saw these police agencies around the country that weren't appropriately responding to protect lives and to protect property, that is a reflection of the government. That's a reflection of the decision makers. The police officers are the enforcers. They don't create the laws. They just obey the laws and enforce the rules. So when police officers are told to stand down, let them burn the building, police officers stand down and let them burn the building. When police officers in other communities are told, you're not going to let them burn out our stores, and then that's exactly what the police can do. We have the resources to protect people's property and to protect their lives. But if the leadership of a community, the mayors, the city commissioners, the governors, the state legislators, if they capitulate, if they back up because of a use of force or threat against them, or a threat of force against them, if they tell the police to stand down, then you get what you get. There's a horrible video back in the Baltimore riots where the police were told, do not engage these people that are tearing up and burning this store. And there was certainly enough police officers there to do it. So you have to not look at the police. You have to look at the leadership and the management of the city or the community.
And how do you think the police and sheriffs are handling it so far? I mean, between COVID, there were some really dicey things that were happening around the country with COVID. And some sheriffs, mainly sheriffs, but some police officers stood up against some of the draconian things that were happening in the state. How do you think, the police are handling it?
Well, we've got a lot of challenges on our plate right now. COVID is certainly a problem. We've got high unemployment. We've got folks who have an environment where they can legally wear masks all the time and be in positions to, one, protect themselves with a mask, or two, hide themselves with a mask while they rob. So when you add to that this environment that we have here now, that is absolutely, totally shocking. First and foremost, no rational, reasonable police agency, police officer could ever defend the conduct of that police officer in Minneapolis. That was totally horrific. There's not enough words to talk about that. I mean, there just is not adequate words. Never has a police officer been trained in a police academy to put their knee on someone's throat. Regardless of whether they're resisting or not, you don't kneel down on someone's throat. So let's set that aside but that for a second, because we all agree that that was horrific and wrong. And in this community, had that police officer done that, I would have had him in jail before sundown. But that doesn't give people a right to riot, to loot, to steal. Yes, you want to protest?
What's the difference between a protest and a riot?
A protest is when, and we had one Sunday, where we had 400 or 500 people show up to protest against the death of George Floyd. It was healthy. It was good. There was old folks there. There was young folks there. There were children there. And they protested that horrific event. It was a wonderful event. They exercised their First Amendment rights. It was so passive, the local police department didn't even visually have law enforcement officers in the crowd. But let me tell you what happened. The protesters then went home. But from there, the anarchists, the rioters, they marched down toward the police department with some protesters. And after they protested at the police department, then those protesters went home, and that left the anarchists and it left the rioters. And that's the people that we had problems with in this community. Well, the police department called the sheriff's office, and we all mustered together, and we pushed them out of the intersection after they had torn up one building and damaged one car and injured one set of people, which, by the way, was one of the protesters that they got mad at. But that's the difference. Protesters are exercising First Amendment rights. Rioters are taking advantage of the situation in order to loot, steal, hurt people, or create absolute chaos. And that's why it's important for police agencies to be allowed to go in and pick the dissidents out, the troublemakers out that's inciting the riot. When you get them out, then you are left with the protesters.
Sheriff, it has been great to talk to you. Thank you for your insight. Thanks for the courage for standing up. And my best to all of your fellow officers. And I wish you nothing but safety and health. Thank you so much, Sheriff. By the way,
thank you very much.
We should keep our policemen, first responders in our prayers. I can't imagine what it's like to go to work, especially in a city that is hostile to cops, and you're one of the good guys. We have 2 cops in Vegas in the hospital, one of them seriously injured. We have 4 in St. Louis in the hospital, and 2 cops last night were run over in Buffalo, Ohio. How many is it going to take before America says enough is enough? Because I can't believe any honest, decent American is with the looters at this point.